Last time on the playthroughs of Despair, another death has happened in Hope's Peak Academy, but the person who died, Sakura, was alone in a locked room, and just like the other various times this has happened, we investigated once more. But Kyoko wasn't allowed to do most of the investigation because someone has a giant unchecked ego. With a locked room mystery as the foundation of this case, this is going to be one of, if not the hardest trial we've had to date. Can we evade getting a game over and Danganronpa the trigger Happy Havoc? Will White Boy ever be normal over a video game? Can you watch the video to the end to see who was the one that caused Sakura's demise? This time, on the playthroughs of Despair. Well, now isn't that ironic? Three of the biggest reminders about the other chapters are here whenever I'm trying to be in despair over a game that I'm not even finished with that came out over 14 years ago. I guess at the very least, even if August doesn't show up, I wrote down the notes. Okay, Daniel, I know you're a colorful type of person. Odd way to describe me, but okay. But did you really, and I mean really, need to cut my brakes? You know how to drive? I ride a bike. When did you learn how to ride a bike? Oh my god. Look, you told me we were going to do the trial today. And, well, look at you. Blue lights with a bunch of random objects surrounding you, cutting people's brakes. I thought I could stall it by cutting them. And what? You thought I wouldn't find some other way to come here? Did you walk here? Yeah, what else was I supposed to do? I don't know, give me a rain check? I would do that, but you and I both know that the sunk cost fallacy is the only reason either of us are in this situation, right? Okay, well, that doesn't matter right now. What does matter is you leaving so that way I can sulk and bathe in my despair alone while ignoring what's causing the despair to be persistent in the first place the way it should be for everyone ever. Daniel, you and I both know that is an insanely sad thing to do, even for you. And besides, I'm not leaving until you tell me about the fourth trial and lighten up a little. But your bike. You cut the brakes! It isn't even here! Sigh. Okay, well, what if I just don't want to talk about it, Daniel, you and I both know that some way, somehow, one way or another, you're gonna end up eventually talking about it. Maybe because of me trying to persuade you, maybe because of you being bored, maybe because of the objects here. Ugh, fine. But only so that way I can get back to sulking in despair alone. Wow, you're childish. Did you redecorate and remove your door? What door? The door that was... Well, I mean, yeah, I got that futon, that COT, that Nintendo 64, this new chair. Okay, but the door... Wait, and where the hell is even your bed now? Oh, that's simple. In here. Uh-huh. Why'd you even move it in here? I thought if my bedroom is in a different room, then I wouldn't be haunted by Danganronpa characters. Did it work? Yeah, kinda. I mean, it doesn't help that I have a different laptop in here. You have a different laptop? Oh my god. Say, that's pretty cool. It sucks I lost the door, though. You lost it? What? Okay, we can figure that out later. Whatever happened this time, just talk. Okay. 2023 was a very magically great time. I barely played Danganronpa, found a lot out about myself, went through some very mild trauma for most of it, but then we eventually got to December 9th, 2023, the day Hope died. I thought it died a year before. before then. But then we eventually got to December 2023, the day hope died. Again. And we are recording. Panic! Oh, you guys suck at panicking. What happens beyond that door will stay beyond that door, so Lord fucking help me.
I don't like that door.
Ugh. Empty,
Oh my
empty,
god, is it Kyoko?
You can simp later, somebody died! Somebody poisoned them. Wait, Monokuma made his announcement and everyone began to meet up one after another, and then the ultimate martial artist. Why is he doing faces? Stop that. A locked room motor mystery.
Hope this fucking elevator drops down at full speed.
Oh, I've recently just discovered the power of emoticons. Like, no matter how awful something is, if you toss on a smiley face, it turns positive. Can conform. For example, you're at a picnic and you find a dead body. XD. This is just being creepy. And how about the reverse? No matter how great something is, if you put in a sad face, it makes it look super negative. For example, do you have 100 friends? No.
Shawty, like a melody in my head.
He's right, that does make it seem sad. And now then, please get on the elevator. I'll see you all down there. What the hell is that? I don't get it. I don't get you guys. How can you act so casual after murdering someone? I don't think I'm acting casual. I mean, I didn't murder anyone. Yeah, I'm completely innocent. How dare you call me a murderer?
I'm pretty sure this is pretty awkward. Not casual. I feel awkward.
I felt awkward.
I love poisoning people. I mean, what? Oh, I didn't put the I love poisoning people.
Hey, you didn't put like a smiley face at the end.
Damn. There's a smiley face. I'm completely innocent. How dare you call me a murderer? Whatever. Either way, the truth will be revealed soon enough. Because there can be no doubt one of us is the culprit. The killer, the one that murdered Sakura. She was stronger than anyone I know and yet someone killed. Wow.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing at that fucking image of her. This has so much meme potential.
When you die.
It looks like God is looking upon her.
That person. One of us. A murderer. Come on, it's time to put an end to this. I made my way toward the elevator, but with each step I took, I felt like I was moving further and further away from my goal. I could feel a chilling fear running through me, though, trying to make me rot from the inside out. No matter how easy... No matter how many times I go through this, it never gets easier. And no matter how many times I say the words on screen, it never gets easier. I have dyslexia. I demand, going forward, somebody mods the game to make all of the font Comic Sans.
How mentally ill is this guy?
Shut up, dude.
Very.
Shut up.
And how do you rate him as mentally ill? Basil.
At this moment, maybe it's like
Oatmeal.
A 10? I am not a 10. I am a negative 10. That is how insane I am. Oh,
I don't know. It's in your tone.
We climbed into a steel prison in total silence. We watched the doors close and it felt like its sinister descent began.
Daniel, I don't like your icon. It's staring at me.
Don't look at it! The elevator lowered, uttering its all too familiar clunking sounds. It fell lower and it's not really clucking, it's more like a gentle hum. It fell lower and lower, and as suddenly as always, the ride was over. Let's see what the wallpaper's gonna be. I'm excited. The door's open once again. I'm excited. Oh god! No!
What's so wrong with it?
I'm too chronically online! Just the six of you. Huh, really? That's so few, you must be so well... You say it like it's not your fault, right? Well, when you say it's like it's not your fault, well, that's left. I wonder, will the class trial end with one less classmate, or will your school life come to an end completely? Now then, are we ready to begin? You know the drill. Find your assigned seats. And so the curtain open for the fourth and hopefully final time. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly... God, shut up, white boy! Shut up, we get it! The last trial was a slam fucking dunk, for the most part. We can handle this. We can handle this for what we have, and if we don't, we blame this on anybody else who isn't the three of us. I blame whatever happens in the future on you, August. Okay, why the hell would you blame me? I wasn't there and you're actively against me watching a playthrough. Just let me have my moment, please, for the love of God. Oh, okay, I might, But it sounds like we're basically at the beginning of the trial itself, not just outside the door to the elevator. Yep. And that means you're gonna effortlessly explain how you unravel this puzzle, right? Yep. Uh-huh, and that means that... Yes! Yes, it means we're closer to the end of the game. We're closer to this chapter being closed, but there's still 4 more games after this. 4 more agonizingly long, disputeful games that you don't care about, August. With protagonists that just so happen to have white skin, brown eyes, brown hair. Fuck, why can't my eyes need glasses and be green? Blue at the very least. One of these days I'm gonna find out why he cares so much about the minute things in life. Monokuma tries to figure out where to begin until Aoi suddenly interrupts him, saying that the murderer was either rich boy, nerd, or stoner. Oh wow, you're just... Each of them dismissive of the idea in their own fun, unique way. Okay, now it's getting good. But she is not having it. And as someone who was accused of being a murderer 3 years ago... Free? I get it. I completely get it. But she is wrong. Dead wrong in her belief. So as I just said, Aoi is 100% confident that sociopath, DID, or 420 is the murderer. Her reasoning being that they all had a motive. They all hated her. I mean, you can hate someone but not want them dead. Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is, August? Sometimes people don't think logically when in these sort of situations. Either way, her motive supposedly doesn't make any sense, because of what you just said. Whatever it was. I literally just said it. How did you forget it? Here's the funny thing though. If you were to meet someone who then died, that would make you a suspect, no? Okay, well, yeah, that... Yes! And that's another reason why Aoi suspects them, because Sakura wanted to meet with them, which was right before she died, if you recall. Yeah, that makes sense. An entirely justifiable reason. But like every other trial so far, everyone thought it was someone else who did the killing. You in Chapter 1, Byakuya in Chapter 2, Yasuhiro in Chapter 3. And all of those guesses were wrong. Last one, he did play a role in it somehow, just not the killing part. Oh, it seems this pattern isn't letting him descend into despair now, is it? Why are you talking like a pretentious stuck-up now? Aoi isn't giving any reason to her logic that one of the 3 is guilty because Sakura wanted to meet with them. Byakuya doesn't deny it, but he never went to see her. Literally not surprised given his character. And neither did Toko. Or Genocide Jill, I don't know. At this point I've just started to use their names interchangeably. If she ever enters the real world, I would start my drink death if I were you. And neither did Yasuhiro. But Aoi is adamant that it's entirely possible one of them went claiming someone is lying. And recall back to during the investigation, when we found out Yasuhiro had a small piece of paper fell out of his pocket. That reveals that he is the one who's lying. Yeah, I remember it, right with red polka dots, same one as the candy wrapper. Exact same conclusion Aoi came to, white boy. Stop talking like that. Yasuhiro doesn't even have time to defend himself before Aoi brings up the fact that she, in her own words, monopolized that entire box of candy, meaning there's no way a single piece of candy could have been left in the warehouse. So, where did Yasuhiro get the candy from? From Sakura? Correct! He even admits to it too. Yet he claims also mysteriously that she gave it to him forever ago. How forever ago doesn't even bother implying the exact date. A few days ago, a week ago, before she died, etc. Stuff like that. The last time Yasuhiro saw Sakura was when Aoi had to go to the nurse's office. That leads Yasuhiro to say that he must have gotten it before then, but that isn't right. Sakura only got the candy post-nurse's office. That leads all of us, MN included, to the conclusion that the last time they saw each other, there's no way Yasuhiro would have just had the candy. Did you just call Makoto MN?
No.
Yes, you did.
Yasuhiro then refused the fact that he did, in fact, meet with Sakura, claiming the two just yapped. Toko even chimes in, saying that he's acting incredibly suspicious. He retaliates, claiming she's acting incredibly suspicious, that she's the real culprit, as he even has proof.
What, is it gonna be like a sign from the gods?
No, the book having Toko written in blood, you moron, get with the picture. Yasuhiro comes to the incredibly logical conclusion that, like when Sayaka got, it's Sakura's dying message. Ao even saw it too, but Toko denies that she did it ever so endlessly. And well, is she beat? Will the trial be as swift as the annual jump in a world record speedrun?
Okay, the fact they probably already walked diagonally aside. I don't know. I didn't want to play through chapter 4 yet.
Why do you hate fun?
You want me to take up speedrunning the game?
Ugh, looks like someone is implementing the wet blanket strat.
What the fuck?
Kyoko stops rambling before it gets out of hand for who knows time, asking when Yasuhiro saw the dying message. He responds saying when everyone found Sakura's body, but Aoi was very adamant about the likes of him being as far away from the crime scene as physically possible.
And Toko too.
So he can't just believe that that's when he saw it. That's a crazy thing to do. When Kyoko found the magazine, it was on the magazine shelf right after the investigation began.
Yeah, it puts a giant hole in Hero's argument.
A giant fire truck hole, you'd say, Mr. Road?
Stop.
He, however, thinks everything he said is perfect, even though there's something strange about it. A massive contradiction lies here. Yasuhiro found the message exactly when Sakura's body was discovered, but Kyoko found it after the investigation began. It was tucked away on the magazine shelf in a magazine. I should know. I was there. In the magazine is presumably Sakura's dying words. Toko. Presumably he saw the dying message when we all saw Sakura's body for the first time. But where was the magazine? Oh, so many questions. We're not even halfway there, let alone even a third.
Wait, hold on. So the magazine's on the shelf were nearby, right? Like, she died in the rec room and there's magazines and stuff in there.
Yeah?
And Kyoko found it there sometime after the investigation began, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Hiro wasn't in there, right? So how could he have seen it?
You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd have seen you from looking through my notes this entire time.
They're incomprehensible gibberish. Why would I want to look through that?
Rude. But yeah, everything you said was right. And after being asked, Yasuhiro thinks they're focusing on the wrong part, asking why it matters.
Because he's a suspect in this.
He claims that, in his words, that we all have to do is read the Vienna sausage Ogre left behind.
Eh?
I think he's still adamant about the fact that someone wrote Toko in blood is all we need. God, if only or that simple again, but no. And to be frank with you, Mr. Road, there's a very real possibility Sakura didn't even write it.
You calling me by my last name is gross.
Yasuhiro thinks that is reality, 100% possible, without a doubt that Sakura wrote the message. But he could just, I don't know, read the palms or something to find out who the killer is. Fuck, he's so dumb. After a very smooth full-time battle, wow, Makoto is very, very convinced that Sakura wrote that little full-character message. Even though it was in fact written with a finger, her hands were both free with blood. Kyoko brings up that Yasuhiro could have and would have written it himself, explaining how he knew about the dying message in the first place, and that is...
Go on.
exactly what happened.
And he wrote it. Why exactly?
Because he killed her. I know.
Literally not at all. It doesn't even feel like a satisfying conclusion to me, so something tells me we are not at the end.
Nope. Yasuhiro got Sakura's note, and then went off to the record before noon, just like the note said to. And when he got there, she had asked him to wait a bit as he had also asked Toko and Byakuya to show up. It turns out this is where Yasuhiro got the candy. She gave him a piece of it. And then after that, they just stood in silence, not trying to apologize to each other the way it should be. Empathy is gross and lame and for small little children who cough on each other for fun.
Why would you say something like that?
A little while though, she had muttered, "This is it. I'm going to end it today. I'm going to end everything." Having Yasuhiro come to the conclusion that she was going to try and kill him and make her escape, leading him to freaking TF out and then bashing her in the head with a Monokuma bottle. This is also where I had made my fun little theory of her getting herself.
That being?
Oh no, man, you tell me.
You know, I think I'll just wait for you to explain it later.
After getting hit in the head, Sakura then went limp, not having any idea what happened. Truly sad. After the encounter was over, Yasuhiro pulled himself together and wrote Toko's name in the magazine in an attempt to frame her for it, before running away. Toko then rushes getting got onto Yasuhiro. He responds saying to roast him, boil him, etc, etc. After that, Aoi tries to then get us to jump to the conclusions way too early. And as Kyoko puts it, there's still something more to Yasuhiro's story, as there's something his story doesn't explain. And he needs to figure that part out. And it being...
Well, why are you making me do it?
Well, how else am I going to make my transition into the next ramble about what happened?
I don't know why the magazine was hidden.
Ding 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 ding. Correct.
When did you get a triangle?
Birthday present. But that doesn't matter. What does matter is that by the time the body was discovered, the magazine was put back on the shelf. So why would Yasuhiro write the message but then hide it from everyone? But, you know, Yasuhiro claims that he purposefully left the magazine on the table.
So what, is he lying?
Probably not. I mean, he already did admit to bargaining.
Not a real word.
If he was telling the truth 8 months in the year,
Not my name.
then someone else must have put the magazine back on the shelf.
Wait, so then that means that there was somebody else in the rec room before or after the incident? But besides Sakura, obviously.
Exactly. And whoever it was more than likely didn't like what was written on the magazine. And whose name was on the magazine?
Toko.
Ding ding ding.
Do you have to use that every time I guess right?
Well, no, but it's fun to do anyways. Okay, I'll stop.
Thank you.
If your name was on a magazine written in blood, making you a pretty obvious murder suspect, wouldn't you want to hide it?
Yeah. Who wouldn't?
So that means Toko did go into the rec room, even though she claims that she had no reason to, especially since Yasuhiro already admitted it, but he isn't the killer.
Yeah, I kinda get that. I mean, I've never attacked anyone, but I don't imagine it's very likely they start coughing up blood from a head injury.
So Kyoko then asked Yasuhiro to repeat what happened one more time, and hopefully by doing so, it will reveal that he isn't the killer. Yasuhiro grabbed the bottle, right, and hit Sakura from behind before she could react, right, and he claims he hit her in the head once, right?
Why are you saying right after saying what happened?
I'm trying something new.
Well, why? It's kind of annoying.
I'm allowed to.
Can you stop?
No. Anyways, after the first string, the bottle shattered and she went limp right after.
So what do you want me to...
However, Kyoko's summary of the whole debacle said she got 2 blows to the head, not 1. So even though Sakura died from a single blow, why did she have 2? This is very surprising to Yasuhiro, so I doubt he's lying.
Well, knowing what was in the rec room, did she get hit with another Monokuma bottle?
That's what Kyoko thinks, and she says that the Monokuma bottles are very suspicious, and that when we understand how, it's obvious why 2 were used.
Yeah, they were made out of glass, and one was like insanely heavier than the rest.
After the incident, 4 bottles were on the shelf, and there were pieces of run on the ground with a chest piece too, so it's only logical to assume that that's the body Yasuhiro struck Sakura with. But for the time being, we'll just take note of the 4 intact bottles and the 1 broken bottle, and originally, Mr. Road,
Stop.
there were 6 bottles, so that means there's a missing one out somewhere in the school.
But how does Kyoko know that for sure?
Because each of the bottles have chess pieces in them, and besides the remaining bottles having a king, rook, bishop, and pawn, the one we found was a knight. But chess has at least 1 more character than 5, the queen. Truly groundbreaking in the action RPG genre.
It's fucking chess, not an action RPG.
Shut up!
Fine. Actually, hold on. If Sakura is dead and dead Danganronpa characters enter the real world and haunt you, at least 93.33% of them anyways, does that mean Sakura is in the chessboard you have?
Oh my god. Nope.
Uh-huh. Why do you have the chessboard in here anyways?
Why not? What if she's just waiting for the right moment to show up? Or whatever. Now if Sakura does enter the real world, we'll know from the get-go.
Okay, well, continue. Something we have to be close to the end.
Well, closer.
Ugh.
So we already established that besides the queen and knight, the ones in the bottles are the king, rook, bishop, and pawn. The knight was on the ground, and the queen is missing, meaning it was also missing at the crime scene. Toko, however, does not see what chess has to do with the case. Like we already didn't establish that Yasuhiro used one of the Monokuma bottles with a chess piece. She claims the bottle could have disappeared before the murder. And do you remember the 6 bottles before the incident?
No.
Me neither, but the missing bottle is 100% connected to the case. And it's entirely clear because the missing bottle was in a very broken sort of state. We call back to when Kyoko and Makoto compared the broken glass on the floor to a regular non-broken bottle.
Yeah, I see it now. The collection of pieces was heavier, wasn't it?
It was! And that's because there was obviously more than 1 bottle's worth of glass, meaning that now it's more than likely 2 bottles were broken in the rec room. But someone decided to clean the pieces, along with the Monokuma holding the queen that was in one of the 2 bottles. But they left behind a bit too many pieces, as they couldn't figure out the exact number of pieces to get rid of.
So, second bottle, missing queen on the floor. What, did somebody else attack her?
Yes.
Son of a...
Since Sakura's head has 2 wounds on it than 1, it's only reasonable to assume that she was hit in the head twice with 2 separate bottles, from 2 separate people. For better or for worse, since Sakura tried to make it look like there was 1 attack, they got rid of their evidence, meaning Yasuhiro isn't the killer, but he also didn't get the ball rolling.
So what is Toko to kill her?
More than likely she was in the rec room when the incident took place, but she claims that despite there being a possible second attack, that she had nothing to do with the second attack. Yasuhiro is sure of it, and even eventually remembered something that proves Toko is the killer. Right after getting Sakura's note, he was obviously nervous about it, so he went into the rec room earlier to stake it out, and while he was raiding, he saw Toko go into the rec room. Soon after, Sakura showed up and went into the rec room too. Assuming everything was fine, Yasuhiro also went into the rec room, but when he had entered, Sakura was alone with no sign of Toko anywhere.
And he just now decided to share that with everyone.
He's a very dumb individual. But, you know, he did kind of forget about it after thinking he could Sakura, so you know, that checks out. So now all we need to do is to find out where the hell Toko went.
The locker.
Because Lord of Abrigi makes something be over as soon as it begins, she denies ever being in the locker room, claiming that she never even went in there in the first place, and we both already know that she went into the locker.
Disappearing is impossible.
Not what the magician told me.
Neither is magic.
Rude. But even though we know there may be some important stuff, so yeah, let's continue where we left off. Toko thinks that the idea of hiding in the rec room is ridiculous, thinking we're all gaming up on her, and that we're nothing but vermin. But it isn't, and we're not. Her handprints were right there, and there's another element to bullet time battles.
Another one, but we already had one.
Oh, you're gonna be saying that again real soon.
There's free?
The element this time so far is that we've been pressing the left mouse button during the final strike all willy-nilly. But now we need to pay attention and choose the proper bullet time battle for a coup de grace. Don't know why bullet time battles are now Eminem albums, but I dig it.
That album wasn't even out when this game was.
Oh yeah? Next you're gonna say it wasn't the album of 2024.
Did it win a Grammy?
No.
Exactly.
But it almost did!
Oh yeah, but now we need to have the right truth bullet. Now what?
Well, it's still selected the same. Keyword and mouse reel. And for unkind, we have less bullets, but the game is set it to mean just this once.
Sadly, yeah, you would have seen at least one game over between the first trial and now if it was on that.
Yep, but you know, now we're about halfway. Bullet time battle. And to be honest, doing the whole thing was very rocky because my dumbass forgot that the locker having handprints was a thing, but I very quickly recovered.
How do you, the person who's been hoping fingerprints get involved, somehow forget this?
I dumb.
Makoto
brings up the handprint in the locker, asking if she knew that someone left it in there. saying that someone must have been hiding in there, and put their hand on the wall without thinking. He then asks if the handprint looks familiar, and of course it does because it's her handprint, but she denies. So Kyoko says that we can just compare it to her hand, and that'll clear everything up. Either way, I finally got my handprints moment. Either way, she then logically crashes out and is wasting not just Rich's time, but everyone's time. Mine, yours, his, the mastermind's, literally everyone's. So she just says yes, it's her handprint.
Well, it was a lot more smoother than other cases.
Aoi then declares that Toko killed Sakura, and she swears there's no other way.
I mean, I know a really easy way to see if that's true.
That being?
There was blood involved. She's afraid of blood. If she sees it and faints, and wakes up as Genocide Jill, until she sees us. She wasn't Genocide Jill when you saw her during the investigation, she was her. And I doubt she would kill someone when Genocide Jill isn't taking control.
A good way to come to that conclusion. But that isn't how it was done in the game. Byakuya commands her to say she did it, and like the fucking freak she is, she admits that she probably killed her.
Probably? What the hell does she mean by probably?
After reading Sakura's note, Toko went into the rec room earlier as she was scared about what would happen if she didn't go. But she was also too scared to face her on, so she figured she'd sneak in first and then hide in the locker, meaning she also saw Yasuhiro attack Sakura, write her name on the magazine, and then jumped out the locker when Yasuhiro left and put the magazine back on the shelf. But it was upside down, as she didn't mean to, because she was in a hurry, which makes sense.
Why did she attack Sakura exactly?
Well, after putting the magazine back, Toko heard a sound that sounded like a monster growling, but it wasn't a monster, just a covered in blood Sakura staring right at Toko, another normal Tuesday. After seeing all the blood, she had then fainted right in front of the magazines, meaning that now anything after that is going to be remembered by Genocide Jill.
Horrifying.
Not to everyone.
Okay, well now assuming she's the one in control.
Which she is.
Did she kill Sakura?
No, it's a little more complicated than that though. In her own words, she was minding her business until somebody woke her up. Thinking it was a prince, she opened her eyes, only to be met with a bloodied Sakura, which took her by surprise. So logically, she smacked her with a bottle, and even though Sakura was worried about her, oddly enough, it makes sense. Aoi even calls her terrible, which also makes sense. But Genocide Jill says that Sakura is terrible because she was got by Genocide Jill and not an adorable boy. Oh my god, I need to stop my drink death.
Told ya.
We have enough time. When it was all over, Genocide Jill picked up the broken pieces of glass to get rid of the evidence, and in her own words, she wasn't gonna go down for some woman, instead for Byakuya. He does not like that. But here's the thing, right? Under normal circumstances, August, a Genocide Jill versus Sakura would be a wicked easy fight since Sakura could have just dodged it easy peasy lemon squeezy.
I mean, she was probably still dealing with the whole being attacked by Yasuhiro thing.
Which it is, but he's thankful for not being a murderer.
It's the small ends in life.
Aoi then says that we can start the vote, but almost too eagerly, like a total 180 from the start of the trial. That is then when Byakuya chimes in saying, "We're not ready." Aoi wants to know why we're not ready to vote, which has Byakuya respond that Toko's story has something odd in it. Yasuhiro's attack, and then Toko's, but that wasn't the end of it. He asked to hear her story again so that way everyone can understand what she was talking about. So the crazy stabby non-Italian lady...
Why did you need to mention Genocide Jill as an Italian?
It is a long story, and I am in a lot of debt. Anyways, the crazy stabby non-Italian lady was sleeping soundly until Sakura was suddenly right in front of Genocide Jill. And the stabby lady woke up in front of the magazine shelf as she was surprised to see Sakura in blood, as anyone would be in that situation. So, she ended up smashing a Monokuma bottle right over Sakura's head.
And the attack took place right where she woke up, right
in front of the shelf. And after coming to the obvious conclusion that the last thing Genocide Jill said about Sakura dying in front of the shelf was the right thing to shoot, and the status of the big lady's body being the right truth ball to go with, which leads White Makoto saying that we had found Sakura sitting upright in the chair. So if her getting hit in the head kills her, why would she be in the chair? Aoi, however, does not want to accept reality for what it is, claiming that that's just another lie from a bloodthirsty serial killer.
The past few times someone has gotten this defensive, I really, really hope the game isn't sending up that Aoi killed her, because she's getting really, really defensive on her position of who killed Sakura.
Well, you see, Mr. Road, like, we're literally halfway through the trial, and even then, if I could figure out how she died at the very beginning of a trial, then Baby Monkey could figure it out before the investigation. But Yasuhiro actually asked a good question here, wanting to know if Finnish had jilted an attacker while she was sitting in the chair. But Byakuya says that he thinks she's telling the truth because the current state of the rec room reveals it.
And what reveals it?
The blood stain right in front of the magazine stand, of course. It's elementary, my dear August.
Oh my god, you're acting like Sherlock Holmes now.
She was definitely attacked in front of the shelf as the bloodstains by the magazines proves that. But Yasuhiro, in a blabbering state, theorizes that Sakura's body must have been moved to frame Yasuhiro, as when he hit her, she was sitting in the chair. But she swiftly disproves this hypothesis by saying that she can't carry anything heavier than her scissors. Oh my god, she is fucking weak. There are books heavier than her scissors.
You know she was being hyperbolic, right?
Yeah, I totally do, but you can try to get me to say the meaning of it for Reddit comment later. For right now, however, both the possibility of Yasuhiro and Toko being the killer is still up in the air, but it feels like it's landing on neither of them.
Neither of them?
And there's still the locked room, so this case isn't settled until we know how the room was locked. Aoi, however, says that part's easy, claiming that after Toko killed Sakura, she hid in the locker again.
It was there when Makoto had to break the glass to unlock the door. The locker was open while the door was locked.
Yeah, this is where the downfall begins. Yasuhiro actually agrees, adding on that she hid in there until everyone showed up and opened the door. And while Chaos was present, she snuck out to rejoin the group. But as you said, the locker was open when the door was locked. Both Aoi and Emma even got a look in, and as we both said, it was wide open so Toko could not have been in there, or even hiding in the rec room in general.
Okay, well, if she wasn't hiding in the rec room and didn't kill her, then how did Sakura die?
That's because everyone besides me is overlooking vital information. So if Genocide Jill's attack didn't kill Sakura, what did? Aoi so adamant that it was a shot to the head, but after nearly crashing out...
Yeah.
No, I hate my life.
What do you mean?
So was it not yellow powder?
I know what it is.
What is it?
Monokuma file and shot to the head.
This fucking game, dude. You really couldn't have handed that to me either way. Fuck you. For the record, even if it wasn't Monokuma file for bringing up some mysterious yellow powder that was on her shoes, it would be pretty important to bring up right about now.
It would. That doesn't make sense that that isn't the answer.
It should feel like oh yeah, these are both separate answers, but they're both right because they are both right. Oh my god, oh my god. I'm this close to getting the Chihiro folder. I'm about to need it, dude. I'm gonna call everybody here slurs. So many slurs. Makoto brings up that the Monokuma file mentions that Sakura vomited blood, so we can assume that this is related to her cause of death in some way. And with the blip of blood coming out of the mouth, at this point it might as well be like Undertale Sans boss fight genocide run.
Speaking of that video fight, what if, hypothetically, she cut the inside of her mouth from getting hit with the glass?
Entirely plausible, glass is wild. But the file specifically stated that she vomited blood, and also Kyoko didn't find any cuts inside Sakura's mouth. And despite the accusation that Kyoko is in the dead bodies, she's only into solving mysteries. And you know what? I respect it, whatever makes time fly by.
Okay, well, how did she vomit blood then?
To cut it short, she was poisoned.
She what?
Yep, and Byakuya even says that that's the conclusion he has, so it must mean that's right. God, I hate that fucking twink. Aoi, however, does not believe that that's possible, but Byakuya then explains his theory on how the dooming of the dew poisoned Sakura.
Wait, theory?
Yes, theory. He is wrong. At least, I think so. I forgot what I wrote down.
You've got?
Well, I mean, yeah, I wrote these like 2 months ago and never looked at them since.
You made it look so smooth though, no tripping over your words or anything. How?
I'm bottling everything up.
Oh.
Since the Chem Lab was introduced, it had all sorts of things. Workout junk, vitamins, minerals, Danganronpa community amino app. Shelf B had reganents, and Shelf C had lethal chemicals, like exactly 83 to 500 apple seeds, or 42 to 390 to 50 million bananas.
What? And how do you know that off the top of your head?
I was wicked bored one day. Anyhow, if you recall, Ali mentioned that the Chem Lab also has a Protezyme X, which Sakura then said was a high-quality protein drink, connoisseur testing $1 versus $1,000 protein drink sort of stuff, if you will. And during the investigation, one of the bottles from Self She was broken, spilled all over the floor while the Protezyme X was on the floor in the rec room, and it was empty, meaning Sakura more than likely drank it. And even though then Kyoko didn't know how, she said it would become important later on.
Oh my god.
And since the C4 bottle from Shelf C was in the Chem Lab, anyone, including people not allowed in the rec room, could have found it. But since Yasuhiro was a suspect, then he just didn't bother investigating, which is really telling. But it's in the C shelf where Byakuya found a bottle called C9 with a scary skull and crossbones on it. If he supposedly has poison, keyword supposedly, he says it isn't powerful or anything, but if you drink the entire bottle, it'll kill you.
Wait, didn't you mention there was a bottle of poison from the C shelf and the A shelf?
Oh, you listened, I did! And that's because that's where Byakuya got the poison from. Because even though Section A is just for supplements and junk, there is, of course, a reason for there to be that very specific bottle hiding with all of the stuff on the A shelf like it's a Gmod prop of watermelon sitting by a bunch of traffic cones. Someone did a switcheroo, which then leads to Byakuya drinking the poison.
What?
Yeah, I know, fucking metal as shit. But it turns out that someone switched some poison with protein, and vice versa. So that means the powder in the C9 bottle and the powder on the floor was protein powder. But here's the thing, where did the poison go? It didn't just get up and walk away now, did it? No, it did not. And with the help of Diego, we'd realize it was in the protein can. Horrifying.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
Oh god, you had the poison too, didn't you?
What? No, different reason.
Oh. Well then. It only makes sense to assume the opposite of the protein being in the poison bottle to be true too.
Okay, but how did the culprit manage to switch them in order to get Sakura to drink the poison?
Well, Byakuya assumes that she was handed the poisonous beverage, which... I was right. He is wrong, but she was poisoned.
How is he wrong though?
We are getting to it. We are 2/3 of the way to the ending.
Wow, time flies.
It's here Yasuhiro recalls Sakura mentioning how protein was good for aches and pains and whatnot, so she might have drunk the poison to help with the pain her two head wounds caused. But Byakuya knows who exactly swapped the mixtures.
Is he gonna say who I think he's gonna say?
Well, he says the evidence for who switched them was in the left of the Chem Lab for all to bear witness to. The footprint in front of the shelf. Early in the morning, Byakuya went to the Chem Lab for some reason, and he said there weren't any footprints there, and concludes that they must have shown up around when the murder happened, which means they just have to be connected somehow. But here's the thing, he saw them in front of the Section A shelf, and he says that since it was clear as day, figuring out who they belong to will be as easy as pie, even though Sakura had some yellow powder on her shoe. Byakuya then throws out that all we have to do is check everyone's shoes to see who the culprit is. Until suddenly...
Suddenly?
Aoi admits it was her.
What?
She admits that apparently that the footprints belonged to her. Her thought process being that if we were going to find out about what she did anyway, she'd rather it come from her mouth than say Yasuhiro's, for example.
Yeah, I thought it might have come to this, but I don't know, something doesn't feel right here.
In a moment, this felt the exact same way for me, leading me to wonder if Aoi was just taking the blame for something she didn't do. But Byakuya expected it, like a fool. He says that there's no mistaking the pair of sneakers made them, and since the only people up to those sneakers are Makoto and Aoi, it would have to be one of them, explaining why Byakuya asked if the footprints belonged to Makoto way back when, even confirming to see for himself the truth. What a fucking psycho. And also, she's been acting odd since the trial. Hell, even after we saw Sakura's body, she's been very odd.
Grief exists for other people, you hypocrite.
Okay, well, either way, this is when I realized that Sakura probably might have told Aoi she was gonna kill herself. Oops, I said it! What? Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, I said the quiet part out loud, didn't I?
Not what means, but yeah, you did.
Shit! Wait, did you say him? That's how it's meant to be used. I was trying to believe him whenever it happens in the trial.
Okay, then yeah, you use it right.
You know, it's funny. I feel like we've hit a 180 for the most part. Cause for some reason you've been very... what's the word? I don't know. Kinda uneasy about this whole situation. Well, I'm just my usual self now.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna try to explain right along, so I don't want to be here longer than I already am.
Alright. Byakuya says that Aoi was in an awful rush to get to the vote, because this whole she was trying to pin the crumb on Yasuhiro, Byakuya, or Toko thing, and Makoto realistically doesn't believe it. It's like if in a massive, astronomical hypothetical, if I would have killed Chihiro, it just doesn't need to make sense. I would have needed to lost a few screws. Or someone wanted to throw a wrench in someone else's plan, which is why it turned out exactly like this.
Wait. What do you mean by throwing a wrench in somebody's plans?
That, my dear August, is going to be explained after the trial. Give it time. Let me cook. Byakuya says that since the two were so close, Sakura didn't think twice when she was handed the concoction.
Also, wait, hold on. Spirit doesn't even make any sense because...
But hey, silence, I'm not finished speaking yet.
Shut it. His theory doesn't even make any sense because Sakura's shoe had some of the protein powder in it. The footprints were at the left, not from C to A, and all the way back during the second trial. Hina was a sobbing mess. If she killed someone, well, the signs were all there. She clearly didn't fucking do it.
You know, if I didn't know any better, I would assume you already looked up a playthrough.
I am literally going based off of information he gave me.
Well, quiet part out loud. Again, yeah, she didn't.
Okay, well, now what? How did they all find out that Aoi couldn't happen anyway, killed Sakura?
Boy, am I happy you asked. Byakuya said that the two were close, which is why Sakura didn't think twice about what Aoi handed her, claiming she used her trust to kill her, and tried to deceive everyone left. In his chalkboard scratching voice, Byakuya says that coming from her, this is a nasty scheme like the goddamn hypocrite he is, the goddamn son of a... Aoi found Sakura in the rec room, hurt. Sakura asked Aoi to go get her the protein drink, claiming that when she went to the chem lab it just occurred to her. Rich Drink chimes in, saying that was when Aoi thought now's a chance to kill her, contending that she then switched to protein powder with the poison. Aoi responds, saying that Sakura just chugged that shit, and then Kyoko stops this madness as she thankfully isn't convinced that the story is true as to making it out to seem.
Yeah, in line with who she is.
Byakuya asks her if she isn't about to claim that she wouldn't kill a close friend, acting like the main character by saying the game we're playing isn't so kind. Stupid idiot moron man says that friendships don't matter, that only defeating the opponent does. God damn it, I hate him, I'm gonna make him feel I swear to God.
On fret, but okay.
Kyoko still, thankfully, is hard-pressed, not convinced by all of this blabbering from him. To quote her own words, "Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying it because of some misguided sentimentalism," and brings up that one unsolved mystery, leaving her unconvinced.
What, the locked room?
Yep. If, and only if, Aoi is the killer, how would she have created the locked room? But Aoi does not tell, saying that it doesn't matter, because if she's guilty, why does she have to tell us everything?
To get the full piece of the puzzle.
Exactly! And Kyoko answers that it doesn't, but the fact she isn't telling us is concerning Kyoko. But that dumb, stupid fucking alphabet simp is flabbergasted that someone here thinks that someone else isn't the killer, and that if that wasn't the case, all the way back in the first chapter, someone would be playing with sticks and bob socks alone!
And I guess Byakuya is still adamant that Hina switched the two mixtures.
Yep. And Makoto mentions how he just doesn't think any of it fits at all. Like, leaving an obvious clue like a footprint is just insane. At least your fingerprints are a lot harder to see than a footprint in dust. God, some people. And I chimed in, it's almost like whoever switched it wanted to be caught. Which, I don't remember if that was the case again, 2-month-old notes here. But I think that is actually the case. And he makes it too obvious, too easy, it's just some real chapter 1 sort of stuff, you know? Kyoko agrees, adding on that it makes it look like Aoi would have wanted people to suspect her if she was the culprit, making this so easy even a baby could do it. Aoi claims that she was nervous, so she didn't notice the footprint, which entirely plausible, entirely realistic, but that catches Kyoko's attention. Aoi backing that up with, that's just how it was. And to get started on clearing the final suspect in this horrid case, Kyoko asks Aoi to tell us more about when she switched out poison and protein, but she protests like a broken record, saying that doesn't matter. But everyone wants to know, everyone needs to know, their lives are on the lines if she won't tell us.
What is the exact point A to point B of the switch?
Starting in the chem lab, Aoi alleges that she went straight to Section C and got the poison, then confirms that when she opened the bottle, that she dropped it, spilling it on part of the shelf, before going to Section A to grab the protein, searching the powder for the poison right there, and when she was done with that, she took the protein can with poison and left, but claims she accidentally put the bottle with the protein powder on the wrong shelf, and if that's true, those footsteps revealed everything she had done.
Well, obviously we both know that isn't true.
Footprints being moaned by A, Sakura's shoes being dirty, just wrong, Aoi lied. And Makoto clarifies if she went from Section C to Section A. And it's here Makoto begins to realize what we know now, that if she had went from C to A after spilling the powder, why were there only footprints by A? So, she asked for her to repeat her story. To recap, she went to Section C, grabbed and then dropped the poison, and spilled some of it on the ground in front of the shelf. Then, she went from Section C to Section A, where she switched the powders, and when she was finished, she put the bottle with the protein powder back in the A section, before then taking the bottle that had the poison in it and left.
That's it?
That's it. Even though, you know, the giant contradiction of the footprints, Aoi had said that she got the poison from Section C, and that's how she spilled the powder, and then she had moved from Section C to Section A to get the protein. But at the scene, there were only footprints going from Section C to Section A, which is a giant contradiction as to what Aoi had said.
I can only assume that if she had really wanted it to look like that, then she would have moved in some weird way to make it look like that. But moving like that would require an insane amount of speed.
Which isn't even what the situation is, because as we said, I was just so nervous, so I didn't notice I left a footprint.
Yeah, so she couldn't have tried to clean it up in any way, shape, or form.
Byakuya is obviously very surprised by this, as she lied, and it's only okay for him to lie because he's rich. Oh, he's rich, alright. Just not in the way he thinks he is.
What kind of threat is that?
One that involves knowing words can have different meanings, but her movements are literally as clear as day. She went to Section A, left Section A. As simple as could be. Kyoko says the powder was spilled, but again, don't remember. Knowing her, it wouldn't surprise me if wait a minute, it was! Right, the yellow powder on her shoes. How the fuck do you forget something like that? You wait 2 months after about a video game. What's wrong with me?
I really should have taken up animal whispering.
Bottom line, whatever she did involved just Section A, as there was no going to Section B or C. Byakuya is very surprised by this, even more than normal.
Has no one told him he's been wrong before?
Apparently so, but the footprints aren't the only problem here. But before we can find out what the other problem is, Kyoko needs to reveal a new piece of evidence while the trial is still going on. Not the most insane thing, the real world does it all the time, I think. But this is, quote, impossible, end quote, to Byakuya for some odd reason.
Has he never been to a courtroom before?
Probably not, he just reads police reports as a hobby, a sick, freakish hobby. But you know, keep in mind when we were doing the Chapter 2 trial, it was revealed that Chihiro was a guy. In regards to the present, this piece of evidence is from Byakuya, but he gave it to Kyoko.
He did?
Of course he did! It was in the scene I bought it from earlier in the trial. The one with the yellow powder in it that Byakuya and Kyoko both had a little taste of.
Oh my god, he did.
She even insults him, justifiably so, saying that she's amazed even him of all people missed this detail. Truly a grave oversight.
Well, what did she even find?
Simple, a small piece of glass that was in the bottom of the bottle, and since Byakuya had a little bit of the powder, it was revealed.
Wow, in a really weird way, he did something helpful for everyone.
Thankfully, Byakuya doesn't realize the role it plays, but Kyoko does and makes Makoto reveal and explain the role it plays. that role being that it was a part of the rec room window that Makoto broke to get in. It was also light blue, so it's more than likely from the same pile of glass. And that leads us to another question. How did a shard of glass from the window get inside this bottle of poison? Because according to what Aoi told us, the bottle of poison should have been in section A. It somehow in with the full object so B up the I, EOS, and got up and walked away.
You need to learn how to say stuff like that without that ironically online part.
Realistically though, the bottle of poison more than likely was taken to the rec room. It was also more than likely that it was there until the window was broken, when the locked room became unlocked. There was quite literally no way to explain how the glass got in the bottle, is what a moron would think, but that's in the very near future. In the very present now, when the rec room was open, the bottle mysteriously moved back to the chem lab shelf, while the protein can was at the crime scene because it was planted there.
Which had to be after the locked room got opened, after Sakura died.
Bingo in August was his name, oh?
Stop.
Okay.
I didn't mean literally.
No, all of this is going by way too fast for Byakuya. He tries to come to his senses, poorly, might I add, admitting that the bottle of poison was probably in the rec room when locked, but he won't admit that the protein can was put in the room after being unlocked.
What is he, stupid? It's obvious.
Yes, very. To both the stupid and obvious part. He says we already know she was given the protein can with the poison inside, and if the can wasn't there when she died, how did she get poisoned? Very good question from someone I loathe.
What are you gonna do if he somehow enters reality?
Go off the grid and become a phone. Money is everywhere, August.
Sound plan.
The whole can thing needs to be explained still, but Kyoko wants to confirm something with everyone here about the protein can. She asks if anyone moved or tripped over the small can after SAKURA'S body was discovered. Byakuya thinks she's being crazy, asking if this is some kind of loaded question. Byakuya didn't trip on it, Makoto didn't, Aoi didn't, Toko/Genocide Jill didn't, and Aoi didn't, which easily confirms that the protein can was taken to the murder scene after the room was opened, and Rich Pants hates that Kyoko knows something he doesn't know. And the only reason Kyoko is yapping about the can is that there's evidence to back up her claims. Someone, Aoi, brought the protein can to the rec room after it was opened. At this point, there was zero doubt in Kyoko's mind that the protein can was not in the locked room, until it was unlocked, which is basically her way of saying that someone planted it there after the door got opened, which Byakuya thinks is impossible, thinking it had to have been planted there the whole time.
You know, if you didn't review the truth of this, I probably would be thinking Byakuya is the culprit.
Byakuya claims that it had to be in the rec room before it was unlocked. But here's the thing, right? There was broken glass scattered throughout the room, right?
Yeah, it came from the window when Makoto broke it to get in.
Exactly, and they weren't just around the protein can, they were also under it too, which is very surprising to Byakuya, but that basically proves that the can was put on the floor after the window got broken. Byakuya comes to his senses after being proved wrong, asking Kyoko for asking if anyone moved or tripped over the can. With Kyoko confirming that that is the case, it would also be on top of it because of that, which is why she asked everyone about that, to remove the possibility from the equation.
That makes everything clear. When it was a locked room, it would only have the poison, not the protein can too. Meaning that when the room was opened up, it was searched, giving the reality of the protein can being in the rec room and the bottle of poison returning to the chem lab.
Exactly! Aoi is shocked that Kyoko found this out, and Byakuya asked why Sakura drank the poison since he had thought everyone agreed that she was tricked into drinking it, as it was in the protein can. Which leads Makoto to say that the only explanation is that she drank it from inside the original bottle, knowing what she was drinking was poison.
Okay, well, how did you react to the situation whenever it was going down?
Read the definition of suicide. Suicide. Noun. The act or an instance of killing oneself intentionally. The self-inflicted ruin of one's own prospects or interests. A module would be financial suicide. And insulted Byakuya for not knowing what suicide was. Mind the boards, bitch boy! Here's the thing though. She was alone in a locked room with just the poison. All of the signs point to her drinking it. Byakuya has apparently never heard of someone taking their own life, even though he reads police reports like what an insane sociopathic moron. He claims that the idea of someone doing something like that is such ridiculous fiction, but that is exactly what happened.
Okay, well, how did she even take it to the rec room? Did someone take it to her?
It was Sakura, which Aoi does not believe, but you know, we both know I said it. Aoi basically helped Sakura with this plan, so kind of like the last trial, but 2 people died then.
Wait. How could 2 people have gotten killed if Sakura planned this? There'd be 1 person to execute and she's dead.
We are getting to it.
Well, hopefully it won't be that much longer.
As for right now, Aoi is very adamant there's no way Sakura took the poison from the chem lab to the rec room, which is obviously true. She did. Straight from Section C. Aoi, however, is crashing out, saying Kyoko is lying, but it isn't a lie. The third and final bullet time battle was as smooth as a whistle.
The fact that this trial had 1 at the start, 1 at the middle, 1 at the ending is honestly welcomed.
Especially after the last trial, who the hell puts that at the start? Having the last bullet time battle being about a minute long before Aoi can ask if we have any proof Sakura took the poison. Makoto asking her if she knew Sakura's foot had some kind of specific yellow powder on it. She didn't notice. It was the same exact yellow powder that was spilled by the shelf in the chem lab. He tells her if the powder was yellow, then what else could it be but the powder from the chem lab?
So what was it doing on her foot then?
Well, more than likely, August. She was standing where the powder was spilled. No, it wasn't Aoi who spilled the powder, but it was Sakura all along. And she dropped it away from where she was standing, which is why she didn't get it all over her, but it still went all over the place, with some of it ending up on her instep. But she visited the deceased section specifically for the poison, as that's where it was contained. Aoi tries to defend Sakura, saying it was her who killed her, still adamant that she did it. But she didn't. Sakura killed herself. Aoi is distraught. Byakuya is shocked. I'm still depressed.
It's a game.
Yasuhiro's shocked too, but he knows what suicide is, so he gets a point over Byakuya. Genocide Jill doesn't believe it, and Makoto doesn't want to believe it, but it's as real as every other death that happened. It all matches up perfectly. Sakura took the poison, barricaded herself in the rec room, and drank it, killing herself, which is why the locked room was so confusing. Sakura wanted to create the locked room. Locked in alone so no one could stop her, Sakura sat in a chair, drank the poison, and gave one last breath in that goddamn nightmare of a school. The bottle of poison now empty as it was rolling around until Makoto, Aoi, and Kyoko showed up and got into the rec room. And it was then that someone grabbed the bottle and snuck it out of the room. And out of the 6 remaining souls, there was only one person it could be. Aoi Ashihina. She did it. She did all of this song and dance to throw everyone off the investigation.
Which historically has not worked on 3 separate occasions.
When they went to her body for the first time, Aoi was standing right near the door because she knew Sakura was dead, and the bottle of poison was near the doorway. That's when she picked up the bottle. Makoto didn't notice it because of she was shocked, and Kyoko didn't notice because she was checking Sakura's body. Literally every action she took was just so unusual and so out of character.
Yeah, we both noticed.
Like when she left to go get the others, that was the perfect time to go to the chem lab and switch the containers. Once in the chem lab, she went straight from section A, where the protein powder was kept, and there she took the powder and poured it into the bottle of poison from the rec room. So when she left the lab, all she had was an empty protein can, which was the only way the footprints make sense.
And let me guess, when she was finished, that's when she gathered the other 3 and took them to the rec room, who each had their own reactions to the suicide, and that's when she planted the protein can in the ground, wasn't it?
Yep. If anything, Makoto should have noticed, Aoi should have ran right up being a sobbing mess inside of Sakura's lifeless body. She never would have even left her side, not even once. In an attempt to hide her suicide, Aoi did so much, and yet not enough to hide the truth, marking this the full failure of someone trying to ruin an investigation. So long as she made it look like someone killed Sakura, she wouldn't care if she took the blame for her suicide, which is why she didn't try to hide the obvious evidence. The footprints, the bottle of poison, so important anyone would think to hide it, but she didn't, so all of her planning to make it look like she killed Sakura failed. But no, Aoi says, still adamant that she killed Sakura. But it's over. There's just more than enough evidence to piece together everything that happened. Everything that led to the death of Sakura, and the following cleanup effort from Aoi. So, August, for what is hopefully the last time, here's the exact A to Z of events that led to the death of Sakura Ogami. This entire debacle began when Sakura asked exactly 3 people to meet her in the rec room, those 3 people being Yasuhiro, Toko, and Byakuya. But out of the 3 of them, Toko headed out a bit earlier than the rest, getting there earlier than everyone and looking for a good hiding spot. That hiding spot being the locker, as besides a few gaps in the door, it was the perfect hiding spot. While inside the locker, Toko saw Sakura enter the room, and then eventually Yasuhiro. When arriving there, he thought Sakura was going to try and kill him, causing him to panic. So now thinking he had grabbed the Monokuma bottle and attacked Sakura with it. Thinking he'd kill her, Yasuhiro then hastily covered up the crime of assault. Using the magazine, he made it look like Sakura wrote her dying message on the magazine. And on said magazine, he wrote a simple name, Toko, hoping he could pin the assault onto her. But since Toko was in the locker, she had witnessed everything, and as soon as Yasuhiro left the rec room, she jumped out of the locker and hid the magazines with the rest of them. But she had made one mistake, that mistake being that she left one of the magazines upside down. Soon after, Sakura had slowly opened her eyes, which Toko took witness to. That and seeing all of the blood coming off of Sakura's head caused her to faint, and also caused her to search the genocide Jack, who also saw the bloodied up Sakura, causing her to freak out and do exactly what Yasuhiro did and attack Sakura with another Monokuma bottle, explaining why Sakura's head had 2 wounds on it. Assuming Sakura was dead, Genocide Jill then started to dispose of the evidence, gathering up the Monokuma bottle shards and the crane chest piece, which is how Sakura got attacked twice with the same weapon. After being a victim of 2 separate assault cases, Sakura was still alive, leading there to be one specific cause of death, suicide by poisoning, using poison she had gotten from the chem lab. So, she had locked the room door with a chill leaning on the door, and then she drank the poison, killing her as she took her final breath. Later, Makoto, Aoi, and Kyoko had discovered her body was in the rec room, and because the door was locked, Makoto had to smash the door open to get inside, while the other 2 didn't know what had happened. Aoi, however, did. Then, she had quietly snatched a bottle of poison from the ground while no one was looking. She had then replaced it with the empty protein can she'd gotten from the chem lab, doing this so all of the suspicion went onto her to try to guide the trial to a false conclusion, risking killing her and everyone left. Which is basically how the entire situation played out from start to finish.
Holy fucking shit.
Sakura killed herself, and Aoi claimed to be the killer to hide it too. Well, not everyone's shocked, but some people are surprised. Oh, and Byakuya is surprised that Makoto figured it out, but he didn't. To quote Kyoko, we all don't act according to calculations and cost-benefit diagrams. That's what makes this so complicated. Which is something Byakuya can't understand, why he couldn't solve the case. And is why I had canon that during the 2008 recession he couldn't comprehend why it was 1 billion times worse than it was. People are weird. Like, you know how many end of the world scenarios we survived? Like, literally last week, I just found out about the Ice Age. Like, holy shit, we survived that?
The last Ice Age was 25,000 years ago.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of things, it might have been yesterday.
Yeah, good point.
When you dismiss other people's feelings, it'll always come back to bite you in the end. Words to live by. Put that on a shirt. Sigh. Well, now that's all that's left is just this long rambling. No, the execution. Okay, looking at this image of Kyoko, I just feel like just top text, bottom text, shit yourself.
Oh my god.
I'm right, okay? S, please. Fuck off, game. I cleared that shit we cleared that shit, I should say. We cleared that shit so easy. Fuck you.
Okay. I think we can all agree you made your point. Did you guys forget already? You still haven't voted yet.
Vote for who?
You seriously forgot? I can feel my energy draining
Vote for
out
who?
of
The
me.
person who did the kill is
Whatever.
dead.
You don't really have a choice.
How do you execute
anyway.
a dead person? You
just
don't.
gotta do it. Maybe you
Shattered
don't
their
want to,
portrait.
but please grab your lever and cast your
Shut
vote.
it.
So, who will be chosen as the
By the way, there will be a execution. Okay?
What?
I'm horrified.
So hold on to your chairs and just wait until it happens.
It's her dead body? Are we taking her dead body?
Strap it to a file.
Oh no! I remember like talking about this, like what happens if someone committed suicide in the game? How does that work?
Well, about to find out. Yeah, that's right. The one who killed Sakura was Sakura herself.
And
Okay, we're done here. So that's the whole truth, huh? I see. But there's still one thing I don't understand. Hina, why did you try to cover up what happened? If the truth hadn't come to light, you would have died along with the rest of us. And yet why did you do that? Yeah, we almost died, Dale. Because that's exactly what I wanted. What? I mean, the reason Sakura died is because all of you pushed her into a corner. You all killed her, so that's why I couldn't let her be the only one to die.
Holy shit.
You don't mean you're gonna take us all with you? We have to atone for our sins. Because everyone, even me, we all killed her. We all have to pay for our crimes, for serious deaths. You still don't understand, let me explain. Do you realize just how much the spirit Sakura was carrying with her when she died? Look at this. Such brutality has made me desperate, so instead of just waiting to be killed, I'll do it by my own hand. I found it on the ground in front of the rec room. It's Sakura's suicide note. Suicide note?
Oh,
Thinking
no.
back, I should have seen it coming. It was right after Genocide Jack attacked me. Sakura got mad and stormed out of the nurse's office. I ran out after her and... Sakura, calm down, you don't have to worry about me, I'm fine. I can't calm down, I don't care if I suffer for this, it's my fault after all. Now you're suffering because of me. You tried to protect me, but because of me, my closest friend got hurt. Sakura, because of me, my friends are all going to kill each other. This is all my responsibility. Sakura thought she was responsible. She thought everything was her fault, which is why she wanted to find some way to get everyone to forgive her. So she asked me to meet with them. You asked me to meet with those three? You can't. Don't you see how dangerous that is? Don't worry, I just want to talk to them. Talk about what? Listen, don't do it. If they're all getting up on you at once, even you, please don't think of things like that. They're not my enemy.
Friends.
Really?
Maybe not one of them. She completely believed in all of us. If you just talked to her, you would have understood she was a friend to all of us. And yet... Damn. You trampled all over her feelings and then you did the unthinkable. No, that was just a misunderstanding. Don't stand there and call it a misunderstanding. She believed in you, and you wouldn't even listen to what she had to say. Without asking a single question, you tried to kill her. Do you have any idea how desperate she was, seeing you like that? That's what her suicide note means. So instead of just spinning around to be killed, I'll do it by my own hand. That's how far you pushed her. Sakura, what happened to you? Hina, you came. Wait right here, I'll help you out. Uh-huh. I'm so glad I got to meet with you. What's wrong, Sakura? Why are you talking like that? I have a favor to ask. A favor?
Some protein.
I'd like some protein. Could I ask you to? Yeah, you gotta just hang on and I'll be right back. That was the last conversation I had with her. I went to the chem lab to get the protein she asked for. When I got there, I saw the powder and that's when I realized. I saw that someone had taken something from the poison shelf, Sakura, so I ran back to the rec room as fast as I could. But by the time I got there, it was already too late. Sakura, let me in. Please open the door.
Why?
Why did she have to die? She had weaknesses just like any other person. If she got cut, she bled. If someone hurt her, she felt it. That was weakness. That's normal. And yet, you've all blamed her. I tried to protect her, and I suffered for it, and that just added to the weight she had to carry. I didn't even realize it. We killed her, all of us. We pushed her into a corner and we murdered her. People like us shouldn't be allowed to live. And that's why you tried to lead us astray. You did your best to make us arrive at the wrong conclusion during the class trial. Sakura died hating all of us. I wanted to free her for regrets. But even that got found out. In the end, I wasn't able to do anything for her. I can never face her after this. I'm so sorry to interrupt right when you were about to deliver the final tearjerker, but it's just taking so long. I'm about to fall asleep over here. I mean, do you really think you have any idea what Sakura was thinking when she died? Everything you just said is nothing but your interpretation, right? Your own opinion on what her suicide note meant. I know, of course I know what she was thinking. Because her and me, well, what I'm trying to say is, don't you think the entire foundation is shaky? What if it was really like this? What is that? Isn't it obvious? A suicide note. Sakura's suicide note. What? But he already... Oh, I wrote that one. That was... Wow, you're a dick. It was all me, baby. This is the one Sakura addressed to Hina and put in her room. What? Then you lied to me. But don't say lie, it makes it sound so dirty. I just thought I'd liven things up a little bit. I can't help it if you totally took my little scribbles at face value. It didn't even have Sakura's signature on it. You filthy little... I'm not filthy, I didn't do anything. Did I falsify evidence? Did I affect the outcome of the class trial? The case played out between you and you alone. You were the ones joking each other around. Heck, even if the will had factored in, it still would have been you guys. So what's the problem? This is all part of the production process, okay? And scene cut. So then what you writing over real serious, I know. I'm glad you asked. For your benefit, I shall read it using my melodic, angelic, harmonic narrator voice. But you know, haven't you ever been curious about the whole suicide note and who came up with the idea of the ring?
Oh my god, I swear to god, I'm gonna kill Monokuma. This is taking so long.
Could you get on with it, please? Okay, geez, talk about a buzz club, right, here we go. My good friend Hina does something I have to tell you. I hate to do it like this, but you need to know. This is my final wish.
As you know, I've been giving information to the one who's imprisoned you here.
It was a false night in this strange school that the mastermind came to see me.
The mastermind took control of my family's dojo and demanded I become their tool.
You might not see the importance of a dojo, but my family has watched over it for over 300
I
years.
couldn't let it be destroyed under my watch, so even if it meant my own life, I had to protect it. That's how I saw things.
However, that was my greatest weakness. Because of that, I made the mistake of giving in to the
And
mastermind.
what the mastermind wanted from me was nothing less than murder.
They will probably worried that until the false murder had happened, nothing would move forward. But what needed the mastermind, what I expected was the incident involving Sayaka. At that point, the plan changed. The mastermind told me to hold off to it until we reached an understanding.
As I lived here with all of you, as I lived here with Hina, my resolve began to weaken.
Watching everyone fight with such despair, trying so desperately to stay alive, I saw the weakness in my own heart, the mistake of succumbing to the mastermind, and more than
I
anything,
cannot betray those who would call me their friend.
that's how I came to feel. So that's why Sakura...
I've made a decision. I will no longer retreat, no longer compromise, no longer regret. I've made my decision. I'm going to resist you.
Of course, because of that, I decided to reveal her secret, which made everyone else hate her. Her decision to stay here true to all of you led directly to all of you hating her for it. Ironic, isn't it? Or maybe oxymoronic. Or is it just moronic? I'm perfectly willing to accept whatever attack you may want to make
So
on me.
this is my atonement for betraying you. That's what I had in mind.
But unfortunately, that's not enough. This won't end with just me accepting your hatred.
My own situation has started having an effect on more people than just me, which is exactly what the mastermind wanted when they revealed my betrayal.
My betrayal brought suspicion, disharmony. The mastermind knew that eventually it would escalate into someone murdering someone else.
Of course, I'm still responsible for that as well.
I have an obligation to get the situation under control, and to fulfill that obligation I've decided to do as the mastermind has commanded. I will do as I was told in Commit
But I've
Mortal.
decided the one I'm going to kill is myself.
If the mastermind demands I kill someone, then that someone will be me, and my dojo will be safe, and above all else, none of you will have to kill anyone. When I die, the source of the conflict among you all dies with me. For that, I'm willing to give up my
If it
life.
can save you, then sacrificing my own life could have no greater meaning. Whatever you think of me, please know that you are all my most treasured friends.
Maybe not one of them. I've never had people like you in my life. And Sakura didn't feel cornered, she didn't die hating us. She wanted to stop us from fighting to protect us. She didn't end her own life, she was weak. Quite the opposite, in fact. She was strong. Too strong. That's why she killed herself. She chose death for herself in order to protect the rest of us. To sacrifice so much, no normal person could do that. It was her only limitless strength that made it possible. The reason I didn't tell any of you this is because I knew you would try to stop me. I'm really truly sorry, but please don't be sad. If I can thwart the mastermind's plans, if I can keep you from killing each other, That's enough for me. This is the path that I have chosen. This is the only way I have left to distinguish myself. And you can use this note to bring to the class trial to the crick end. I'm so sorry to ask you to do something so unpleasant, but I have to leave the rest to you. Please talk to Byakuya, Toko, and Hiro on my behalf. I can't tell anyone about my plan while I'm alive, but I wanted you to understand why I'm doing this. In the end, though, I hope to show myself through actions, not words. Hopefully then they'll see.
I never saw you as my enemy. You were only ever my friend, who I wanted to help as much as possible.
Man, she was too peaceful.
Whatever it takes, survive. Survive along with everyone else. No matter what, just survive.
I don't understand how she felt, not at all. I thought we were close and still, but in the end, all her meddling was like totally pointless. She died so you guys wouldn't try to kill each other, but you almost ended up doing it anyway. Thanks to you, her death had no purpose at all. In fact, it was because of her stupid meddling that the rest of you nearly bit the big one. She deserves all the blame. Everyone blame her. Go ahead, she deserves it. No. Now then, the next victim has been decided. What do you mean next victim? Nobody here blames anyone. First of all, you're in the wrong for tricking Hina with that fake suicide note. And plus, SAKURA'S death wasn't a waste. Because she made us remember, we're not enemies that hate each other, but friends who need to work together. Damn straight, this is all because of our misplaced hatred. I don't hate her, I don't blame her, I can't blame her, and nobody can blame Hina either. Whether or not there was a spy that really never mattered, because the one we need to destroy is you, nobody else. What the heck? That's not how this is supposed to go. But anyway, are you sure about that? This killing game is a competition between all of you, remember? Your enemy is each other. He's absolutely right about that. Ah, lovely Byakuya, you understand, don't you? And this is a life or death elimination match. The only way to survive is to win. There can be no doubt that those are the rules of the game. Which is why I am bowing out of the game.
Are you killing yourself too?
Finally.
Thank God.
Freedom at last, bro.
Sakura and Hina were both willing to sacrifice their own lives to deny the reality of the game. Thanks to them, it would appear the others have cast aside their fear for this game. There's no point in participating in the game which has lost that sense of excitement. Which is why I will no longer be participating in it. What's going on here? Now I only have one thing to look forward to. That is to heap the harshest possible punishment onto the one who thinks they can control me. Byakuya, does this mean? Don't misunderstand. I haven't been moved by some thoughtless sentimentalism, if that's what you're thinking. Well, can you say that SAKURA'S death had no meaning? But nothing good can come out of this. I'm still going to be the one having the fun time. The fun time? Anyway, let's forget about that good-for-nothing backstab and get back on track. It's the moment you've been waiting for, punishment time. Wait, but Sakura was technically the killer, right? And she's dead. You're not gonna. Is it me? Oh heavens no. Just because the Blackened is dead doesn't mean I can sub in whatever old student I want. Didn't I tell you? I'm very particular about this very times one rule. But I spent so much time preparing my special punishment, it'd be a shame to let it go to waste. So, for my special punishment, I prepared a special guest. A special guest?
Oh, wait.
That laughing scares me.
Do it!
Okay, hands up. Oh my god, okay.
Oh! Wait! You're a bitch! You're a bitch! You're a bitch!
Not looking. You can't make me.
Look, come on.
No! But turns out she's still alive. Oh, they're still alive? Oh, he's still
It's
alive?
he.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Totally.
Well, fuck this.
It's over, Daniel.
Oh, I realize I'm gonna have to see all of that for later.
he will edit that.
Blah 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 blah. La 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 la, not looking. La 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 la. Blah 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 blah.
Did you say
Blah blah
Actually,
blah blah blah
What are you?
yep. Phew.
blah blah blah. I can only click for so long.
Wait, hold on. You just ignored a lot of dialogue. In the execution, too.
First of all, no, I didn't.
You literally said, and then I skipped a lot of dialogue.
Second of all, no, you can watch a playthrough when you leave.
Yeah, good point.
Do I have your attention? Okay, here we go. Prepare your ears for the adolescent tones of yours truly. One other thing, Hina, there's something I'd like you to tell the others. Hopefully it will act as a clue to help you unravel the mystery of the school. I've spoken with the mastermind off and on the whole time. I've been here, so I've learned one thing, which is the mastermind has done something to us. I think what they've done is... Oopsie daisy, that was a close one. Another ward, and we would have been hip deep in spoiler territory. Okay, don't want to mean this applies to book club as well. God, shut up. You can't just stop at the most important bit. It makes your brain rumble and tumble, huh? It makes you so mad you don't even freaking know, huh? That's the whole point, stupid. It's to get back at all of you for hardening your resolve. Fine, but at least it goes, you know, like I'd ever let any of you greaseballs have it. And it sucks for you losers.
What the
Wait,
first part
what's
though?
this? What is it now? There's one less line in the no. And let me just say this to the mastermind. I'm not going to just lay down and die. I will fight you, you bastard, no matter what. And that's seriously it. Dead people! Wow, what a southern loser, huh? She won't lay down and die, she'll fight you? Well, whatever. Who cares what some dead musclehead has to say? Okay, I'm out of here. You guys should try to get some rest, you know, and maybe take some time to reconsider how you approach this school life of yours. Are you sure you don't want to graduate? Can you really cut free from the regrets of the outside world? Think about it from long and hard. I think food is good to eat.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Those were his parting words to us before disappearing. But what was that all about? Sakura's final message will ask her to help us solve the mystery of this school. The mastermind did something to us. Kyoko said something like that before, didn't she? It was after Trial was over. What did you do to my body? What means to me? What did you do to my body? The mastermind did something to our bodies? What are they saying the mastermind did then? What did the mastermind do to us? Did the mastermind plant a bomb into us or something? And if we try to leave the school, a sensor goes off, and the bomb explodes? I've seen stuff like that in movies and comics, so it's not totally unheard of. No, I feel awful just thinking about it. I can't afford to acknowledge
Your turn to die.
thoughts like that. So the class trial is over, Monokuma's gone, so now what do we do? What else is there other than
Cry.
head back up? Oh yeah, okay, let's get out of here. But you must still feel responsible. Dial that. Shut up, dial that back, that ego, a big goal. The kind of mystery someone like you could pose is absolutely no threat. I would never have lost to that kind of challenge. What are you talking about, Kyoko and Makoto? Kyoko and Makoto are the ones that figured everything out. Shut up. Seriously, I'm sorry. How many times do you plan to apologize? And how about you make that the last one? I haven't reached a point where I need someone apologizing to me more than once. Okay, I see what you mean. Then I'll try. That totally wasn't normal, right? Cheetah's captures flag? No, I can't suffer the existence of someone who would disturb rumors between me and Byakuya. What are you talking about? That's absolutely not what's happening here. Why would I ever go for a sleazeball like him? A sleazeball? That's right, I called you a sleazeball, as you are, sleazeball. Apparently you still have a death wish. Oh, more biting sarcasm, no wonder you don't have any friends. Hey, stop fighting with Byakuya and making me jealous. I want the abuse, give and take. Me. I guess it's not so easy for everyone to act like friends, but it's just how it is for now.
Yeah.
And so
Yippee.
Sakura's
Whoa, that
class
was
trial
fun!
came to an end and we returned to the world of Pokes Peak Academy, but the story wasn't even close to over. Time kept marching on. We all went back to our rooms, and before long, nighttime descended and pulled me down along with it down into sleep. I couldn't remember the last time I'd fallen into such a deep sleep, but the night still wasn't over for me. A voice. I couldn't hear a voice.
The voices!
The voice dragged me from deep slumber into hazy consciousness. My eyelids were like lead.
Yo, Chihiro. Oh damn.
What?
Kyoko?
How you get in my room?
Kyoko? I said yes. So Kyoko's here.
Wait, what?
In a flash, I was wide awake. What are you doing in here? I'm gonna wake you up, I see. Wait, but my door. It was unlocked. You're unbelievably careless. It was unlocked? Are you serious?
Hey.
Always. And you don't have to overreact like that every time you're surprised. What time is it?
Correct.
3 o'clock in the morning, of course. 3 a.m. Unlocking the door at 3 a.m. It's so late. What
Gussie.
happened? I have a favor I need to ask. And that's what I'll say because that's how you tease the next episode, baby.
I hate you, Daniel!
Well, I know one person who will get a real kick out of that. God damn it. Not Sayaka. She's dead. Dead people can't
Okay.
have feelings because they're dead. And what have we learned today? Never trust anybody ever again in your entire life.
Computer go bam
La
bam.
la 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 la.
Computer, go bam
Ah, and well, after holy shit, an hour and in over a year, that's the trial.
Took you over a year to tell me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to know. No, I do. Why did it take you over a year?
Well, you know why you skipped over the execution?
Yeah. Well, I guess the sooner I leave, the sooner I can learn about the execution and following dialogue you skipped over.
Wait, before you go, August.
Nope, I walked here from my house. I can walk back.
But it's important.
Same time next week.
Son of a bitch. When the hell did these turn off? Weird. You know, thinking about it, I'm probably sure it has absolutely nothing to do with what I meant to say or implying anything in any way, shape, or form. I need to sleep this off. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to bed. Stuff like that. Oh, sure, you've mastered teleportation, robotic healing, it makes sense, you guys, but if you're gonna fight me, Sniper TF2 and Engineer TF2, get in front of my face and fight me like a man, you cowards! God!
Okay, the fact that a spy could easily just...
Too hard a class.
The fact that a spy could easily take care of them aside. When the hell did you start wearing a beanie? You weren't wearing one last week.
Oh, this is because of the fact that the day after the chapter 4 trial, I shaved my head.
You shaved your head.
Mm-hmm. Wanna see?
Sure?
Alright, here goes.
Oh my god, you shaved your head.
Yeah, I know. I felt so much more alive, aware, awake. Me. This is probably one of the best ideas I've had for the year so far.
Yeah, whatever helps you sleep at night.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that reminds me, August, I wanted to tell you something before you left last week.
Okay, fine. What is it?
Well, I wanted to apologize for, well, everything. How you've been acting since we met. I don't know why, or how, or even when, but when getting the notes back for the trial in January, I've had this weird husky voice in the back of my head that's been getting louder and louder until right after you left me that's been judging me for how I've been, and between me shaving my head to now, I've been trying to figure out why I've had that voice, which led me to realize that all the way back when I first played Danganronpa, when I had said Makoto looked like me, I think that led me on this downward death spiral, because every time I've seen my reflection more and more, I thought, wow, I really do kind of look like Makoto. Until the day after, well, you saw my hair, it was long. And, well, it was too long for cup one, in more ways than one, and when I shaved it off, I felt free. Like I remembered who I am. I'm not a video game character. I'm not Makoto Nagi from Danganronpa Trial Happy Havoc, which you can get for $19.99 on Steam. I'm no one else but me. I'm Daniel, and I'm not gonna let Danganronpa rule my life like how it's been since 2022, even with 2 chapters and 4 games left respectively.
Well, apology accepted. I guess I'm sorry too. For the whole not taking a serious thing, even though I think you're a massive lunatic for being disaffected so much from a video game, but I guess I get it.
It took you 3 years to see my side of things?
Yeah, it did. But, well, I don't know. If you're gonna try to be more open and accepting, I might as well try to repay the favor and take everything you're saying to heart as much as you do, even though you don't need to at all.
Well, better now than never, I guess. This is awkward.
Yeah, it is. Hey, wait a minute. Did you ever figure out if your laptop, or at least one of them, was possessed by alter ego?
Oh yeah, that. Well, to be honest, I did check them yesterday. The Chromebook has no batteries now and is as good as dead. The light gray Lenovo one doesn't work if the power cord isn't plugged into it and a wall outlet. The dark gray Lenovo one was the laptop I used before I got my computer, and the MacBook is a MacBook and it hasn't spoken to me in Chihiro's voice yet.
It speaks to you?
No, I use it to have background noise and light whenever I sleep, like an ideal nightlight.
You're 20 and you need light when you sleep.
I want to jump on something when I go to the bathroom at night.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Actually, come to think about it, besides the usual ones, no new hauntings have happened recently.
Well, that's good for you. Kind of figured that with the whole self-rediscovery, you would have had that not happen.
Yeah, I realized that I think I have schizophrenia, but that's whatever, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it.
Schizophrenia is something you can be diagnosed with, right?
Oh, I know, but the idea of getting diagnosed is really, really scary. What if I'm a unique case and the government tries to sue me to do weird experiments on me?
You watched E.T., didn't you?
I cried at the ending. Good movie.
Yeah, it holds up. A proton ball? Where did this come from? Well, hey, give that back!
Shut. Oh my god.
This sounds like it's gonna be good.
Oh my fucking god. How long?
You see JFK up there too, right?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that one out, to be honest.
I am in the sky. Next to Sakura Origami from Danganronpa Trial Happy Havoc, which you can get for $19.99.
You can see her too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you believe me now, right?
Mm-hmm. More than just taking your word for it.
I need to finish the game.
This is weird. Do either one of you want to hear me ramble about Golden Sun forever long? No. Son of a bitch.